officials, the school committee.
Oh, okay.
School committee led by Mike Shannon and my good friend Eric Crane,
Mm-hmm.
who is probably on the committee for 20-some years already.
Yeah, as long as I can remember, he's always been there.
And we also had Gabe Lopes,
Yes, he was the chairman before, if I'm not mistaken,
who
right?
was the chairman last year.
Okay,
This year, Mike Shannon took over.
okay.
And forgive me, but I do not recognize or I can't identify the rest of the school
Okay.
committee, but they're represented by our turkeys.
Exactly.
So we'll be talking about them in our presentation today. So what I like to do is the agenda and opinions are solely by the topics of the town host and guests, contributors, and commentators. So, Tony, thank you again for coming out.
No problem whatsoever.
and-
Thanks for having me.
And don't be surprised if your head gets cut off,
Oh, come on. Well,
because the turkeys are on the chopping block.
well, yeah, next month.
That's right. Subtitle for this show is Danvers Concerned Residents Unite, ready to retain the Danvers small town feel and culture.
We're losing it. We're losing it.
This is a repetition of last show. However, we think it's very important because the one thing that we do not have in this town is strong representation
Yeah,
from our elected officials.
there's no question about it.
Both boards are very, very weak. But I have a quote for this show. And I go back to my original quote about 2 or 3 months ago. Unthinking respect for authority is the greatest enemy of truth. It is a very strong statement, and what it does, it brings to the attention our Danvers school system. The Danvers school system, as I said at their meeting on Monday, is not a Danvers school system. All we ever do is supply the tax money to support the system. It is a state education system. And our management and our school committee are complying with every single wish from the DESE, which is the Department of Secondary Education, and they are leading the way, and we'll talk about that in a minute because we've had some very serious issues over the years in regards to the education
I agree
and
with
the
that.
education level of the materials that they use.
They have to go back to the old time, old way of school teaching. Okay, I think they've gone away from that.
Well,
That's the sad part. Teachers used to love to teach. That was a big thing. They loved it. And right now, I think their hands are tied in a lot of ways.
Well, one of the things that I noticed I haven't been to a school committee meeting for a while.
Yeah, I watch them on TV, every chance I have. You know?
See, I don't even do that.
Well, I do.
But
I mean, just to
this
see what's
time
going on.
I went to the meeting, and the surprising thing is that the parents of certain students are complaining about the contents and the materials that they use and the teaching methods that are being conducted on our students. Our students, our children and grandchildren, are getting indoctrinated into this woke semi-education system that happens. And the surprising part is that at this meeting, there was a representation of probably 20 teachers, all women, probably in early 20s to early 30s,
Okay.
and they were debating in public of that they have a right to select whatever materials they need to use in our school system. And the thing is, and I'm diverting from my outline, but I just want to read this one small paragraph. We are writing to you today to express our grave concern regarding the decision to allow 8th grade families to opt out of the ELA unit of the school year. By allowing students, those parents have objected to the book All American Boys, an acclaimed novel by Jason Reynolds and Brenda Kiley, to not attend the ELA class alongside their peers. The district is clearly not following established processes for the challenge of books to our curricular materials. What are they complaining about? They chose them, and it wasn't the district that chose the book. It was the school department in the state of Massachusetts. So, the district is also veering from guidelines established by the American Library Association regarding the intellectual freedom, the right of every individual to both seek and receive information from all points of view without restrictions. Where are the parents in this district? They are being excluded. What are we bearing or we're upbringing our students by the state now? Is this a communist state?
May I ask you a question? Was there a lot of people there opposing this, Mark?
The teachers came in force from the union.
Okay.
There were probably 20 teachers dressed in their blue T-shirts.
Are they Alabama's teachers? Or you don't know that for sure?
I can't tell whatever it is, but all I know is that one of the teachers, the spokesperson, was a young lady, probably in her late 20s, early 30s. But she spoke in regards to all of this happening. And this is written by Christy Shofar. The text of Danvers Teachers Association letter is enclosed. That's what I'm reading.
Okay.
And what happened is the National Council of Teachers of English echoes these sentiments. Schools cannot restrict student access to books in the classroom or library unless it's for educational or compelling safety reasons. Schools should follow established district policies when reviewing requests to restrict and remove books from classroom. This is where the turkeys come into play, because our district in our school system has looked the other way in regard to the curriculum that's being chosen.
And believe it or not, the 5 turkeys are the ones that have the power, basically, right?
Well, they think they have the power, but they're
supposed to be our voices.
They have voices, but they are afraid to raise the voices because they want to comply with DESE, which is the Department of Education. So the thing is, my statement that I made at the school committee meeting is right here. Let me get to it. We'll skip story number 1 because that one is another one where we're getting driven by outside of our school district or even our government in our town. If the town wants to know why so many families are opting for private school, homeschooling, or Essex Tech, one explanation is staring it right in the face. The move to teach the state mandates because of the funding carrot. The focus of private and technical schools is outcome education, with the technical schools being in fashion now. Needless to say, DEI, SEL, and various other progressive developments that have been adopted by our school department have convinced many parents that their kids can no longer get the rigorous education Danvers Public Schools used to be famous for. We are living on a former laurels of providing a great education. We need to restructure, and all residents, including taxpayers, need to be included in this effort. Now, my observation has been in many views as the result of the established Danvers residents. Instead of stamping out inequities like DEI, SEL, CRT, LGBTQ, they create new issues and further inequities. So by trying to solve some of these social issues in our school department, we are neglecting the basics.
And they're creating more problems.
And that's exactly right. The state DESE, which is the Department of Education, dictated curriculum dictates, and the woke indoctrinated teachers union adopt the current education process. Those teachers that are in that age bracket have gone through an indoctrination in college, and I've seen that even from my own, my own family members.
Yeah, I agree with that too. And same thing in my family. I'm telling you.
So,
college is supposed to be a good thing, but I got to have a funny feeling. I'm telling you. Some of them.
The current crop of students and parents are trapped with the woke education process. Parents and their children are enrolling the students in out-of-school tutorial programs, which contribute to the widening of performance among all course levels. What we're doing is we're focusing on social issues and not focusing on education as it should be happening. In our opinion, the questioning of people who choose not to send their children to Danvers schools, a parent wrote that a more technical, rigorous curriculum would bring more people back. Now, that statement rang a bell because I think it's principal or assistant principal Strout at the middle school was, the high school. He was reviewing the questionnaires that have been sent to students that left Danvers school system for the Essex Tech school system or outside private schools. And one of the comments on, or several of his comments, a more technical and rigorous curriculum would bring more people back.
Yes, it would.
And the thing is that we're getting a bum education to our children, and we think we're doing something great. Parents should not feel like they need innovative math or innovative English, especially as a second language, to make sure their kids learn properly. The majority of students, 92%, are being cast aside for the 8 to 10% who deserve special treatment, but not at the cost of the majority.
I agree with that 100%.
So, the only way to do that is to stop letting the equity industrial complex of consultants and ideologues define the town's options. They are rooted in an ideology that favors equity over achievement. Equity is a whole noble goal if it means ensuring that every student has the same opportunity in education support. But it shouldn't come at the expense of high achievers, nor should it lower the expectations and outcomes for the kind of students that equity advocates claim to be championing. It will take more than updating the curriculum for Danvers to regain the trust of families that are fleeing the system. It will take renouncing bad ideas that damaged it in the first place. So this was a statement that I made at the school committee, and it seems to be ringing a bell, but there were opposing views, and they were mostly from the teachers. And the teacher, I've asked that question of what has gone wrong in our system.
Well, let me ask you a question. 20 teachers. I've never seen 20 teachers at a meeting before.
Although they came out on this one.
That's what I'm saying. Because the reason being, I don't know. I mean, I've watched a lot of the meetings and stuff. I don't go to a lot of them a couple of times, but I watch it. I mean, I've never seen 20. It's like it was. So it's
they
like
want to continue this dissertation in regards to DEI, SEL, and Ben, if you can put up the
or they're from outside of town. I mean, that's another situation. They shouldn't be.
There you go.
Well, that's another problem because that seems
driven.
Yes.
Now, if we can show the questionnaire or the test that was given to the students, and I'll just
I did see that. Yeah.
The students have been asked all kinds of questions in regards to white privilege, sex privilege, and this is guided by an English department where they introduce the CRT program onto our students, and it is de facto promoting the propaganda from the Department of Education in the state of Massachusetts.
Why can't they go back to what worked? Why do they change things and go crazy?
Well, I'll give you an observation. One of the things is that at this meeting, there were probably 3 or 4 of us that felt that there was a wrong being done to our students. And the rest were promoting the gender qualification, the gender differences, the CRT, the critical race theory promoting, the sex education. SEL is a defunct program that was established in this town. I was going to say city, but it's a town still. And the thing is, it was established 20 years ago. And the thing is, they've been promoting this right along. There are LGBTQ clubs in the school system.
There is?
I went to a meeting that I had with the school system, and this was with the old principal. And what happened is I arrived a little early, but I tried to go into the side door, or the front door now. And all of a sudden, there was probably 200 students coming out with brochures, bunnies under their arm, and all kinds of signs, LGBTQ and all that. And I don't care.
Shouldn't have been in class? Shouldn't have been in class learning?
That's exactly. This was at 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
That's what I'm saying. I don't understand this stuff.
So the thing is, our teachers are causing part of this problem, and I don't understand it because I know many of the teachers, and all they're doing is filling in time for retirement. I get the feeling.
No. Another thing, do you notice they started working on that charter school? They put the fences up, starting to tear down the buildings. The equipment's there.
Well, then what we need to do is we need to go and determine what its size is going to be, when it's going to to be completed.
They have the permits already on that or no? I think they did.
They must,
yeah. The fencing went up, and they had the heavy equipment was already there. I noticed that the other day.
So now, just to follow up our story, I am looking at the Globe magazine. This is me writing his email to one of our residents. I am looking at the Globe magazine that came with the paper this morning.
Okay.
And for some reason, I bent and ordered the Boston Globe
Okay.
access digitally and a Sunday Globe delivery.
Okay.
I don't know why I did it, but I can't cancel it now.
Really?
They
Okay.
won't let me cancel it.
Well, that I believe.
So,
Unless you pay for a year subscription, probably.
well, no, I'm not paying for it. I bought that for 99 cents for a 6-month trial. And it is something rotten in New England schools. That was the title. I was going to bring that together, but this is enough. Well, this is exactly what I've been talking about on my show for the last 2 or 3 years. New England schools are lagging. It's time to swallow our pride and look south for inspiration. But it is getting into a lot more detail than can be explored, and again, my assumption about the Danvers school system is that our system is only funded by us, but we have no legitimate reason to control what was being taught in the school system. We are funding mechanism for the state-run school system, and the curriculum that this district is dictated by our state board of education or by the insane consultants that are paying or buying or being paid for dictating CRT, SEL, DEI, and all of those woke systems that have been applied, that applies to our schools. We need to get control over our school system, and we need to fire the superintendent and out the entire school committee, because we have nothing available for the residents of Danvers.
Who's in charge, though, really, Mark? It's definitely the school committee, but
No, the school committee is not in charge of anything.
I thought they're the ones that vote, as we voted them
They
in.
vote on everything that doesn't mean anything.
But isn't the superintendent supposed to bring it to them and they vote whether it goes or not?
And the superintendent follows the state curriculum and the state
Okay.
dictated law.
Now, I mean-
Every time you talk to the school superintendent, we have to comply with the state.
How about our town manager? She has nowhere. She doesn't even get her nose in this. So
Well,
not to be
that's-
funny, I'm just trying to figure out how it
No,
works.
that's a very serious question, because the only time the town manager or the selectmen get involved is approving the budget.
Okay.
And the thing is that the budget can be approved or disapproved by its entirety.
So-
it cannot be dictated in the middle.
Okay. So they can't. In a way, they could probably try to regulate it somehow that way, right?
Well, see, that's where our elected officials and our appointed town manager have the power to influence the
Okay.
contents
Think that's
of
what I'm trying to
what's
say.
going on.
Right.
Because they represent all of the parents. And the thing is that we do not have that kind of government.
Right. But on top of it too, they can't. They can, like you said, they can suggest, but they can't enforce it. Is that right?
They can suggest everything that can
Right.
be done,
But
it
can't
has-
enforce it.
But what it has to be done is has to be leveraged on the election of the school committee.
Right.
And the
So it comes back to the 5 turkeys.
there you go. Now we're back to the turkeys.
So basically, they're the ones that do the voting for us.
So just to follow up
Okay, I'm just trying to
and
figure it out.
complete this one segment, and we're almost halfway through.
I know that.
I bring this forward because we need, I bring this forward meaning unthinking respect for authority is the greatest enemy of truth. Danvers school system equals state education system,
Right.
state of Massachusetts. I bring this forward because we need and deserve strong leadership in our community. Where have all the leaders gone? We don't have a leader in this town.
I don't think we do.
Where are the local heroes in our society? We don't seem to have any more. Where are the town fathers and mothers who are elected by us, the voters? Have we misplaced our trust in our community leaders?
I think it's too much for people to get involved. They want to get involved, they want to do something, but do you know what it's like trying to fight against all this bureaucracy? It's impossible.
Well, that's where it takes a strong leader to get involved. And we have tried that on the program, but all we can do is bring the horse to water.
You can't
and
make
we
him drink
can't
it.
make him drink.
That's the problem.
Right.
Unless you have the Kool-Aid.
Well,
If you got the right Kool-Aid,
we
you're all
don't
set.
have the Kool-Aid.
We don't have the Kool-Aid.
The current town government is deaf to the issues that count.
Someone has the Kool-Aid, though, somewhere along the line.
We are overtaxed, abused as taxpayers, and ratepayers of our utilities and basic services. We need relief.
Every
Our-
time you turn around, they're in your pocket, one way or another.
Well, the thing is,
I
it
can't
gets-
believe how many funds they have or how many charities in this town. I'm telling you, man.
Well, there are pockets of millions
Yes.
of dollars being put away
Yes.
for the rainy day.
Yes, the rainy day
And
for
the
what?
rainy day seems to become retirement fund,
Pension plans.
medical pension plan, and those kind of services. It doesn't seem to care about the Danvers who
Residents,
are paying the
no.
bills.
No, that's the problem.
Our voices are heard at public assemblies, but when it comes to taking action, we are abandoned due to political inaction and deliberate anticipation. That the complaints we get tired, that the complainers will get tired and just go away.
That's exactly what happens. That's what I've been noticing.
Our leaders
They
are-
listen to you a little bit, give you a little carrot, and goodbye.
That's right. Go away and don't complain
back.
anymore. Our leaders are asleep at the switch. Which and how many public comments are presented but not acted upon the board, our select board, and other boards? Talk is cheap and answers are lacking. We must understand the political tactics and the kind of words of wisdom by Mark Twain. And if we can throw up the Mark Twain clip, please. I have a very good message for everybody. And I don't know if we have that available, do we? Mark Twain?
You do have them available.
There we go. No amount of evidence will ever persuade an idiot.
So
And
true.
Mark Twain wrote very many novels.
And
but-
how many years ago?
Oh,
Common
this was
sense.
100 years ago.
Common sense.
Yep.
Where did it go today? Today we don't have any common sense. That's the
There
problem.
has been excess of evidence regarding the issues that Danvers residents care about, and nothing is accomplished by our leaders. So this leads me back to a comment I made at the select board meeting in regard to the Danvers Concerned Citizens petition that was filed back in September 18th.
Okay.
Now, I brought this up 2 weeks later. I brought this up 2 weeks later. We can take this off because it speaks to all idiots.
Exactly, it does.
And some people may think that we're a bunch of idiots,
Well,
but
there's no question in my mind. Also,
we
you
at
got a
least,
few.
we at least are outspoken.
Exactly.
So, the citizens' petition was filed on September 18th, and this was October 7th or 8th. At the meeting, I come up and I asked the question, what's the story with this petition that was filed on behalf of the group of people that wanted to review the planning board approach? And what happened is I finally got a comment back from my friend Gardner Trask.
Yes, I did notice that.
He said, why don't we just move this along because it is directed at the town manager, because the town manager is the one that appoints the planning board. Well, the selectmen were asleep at the switch again. So what we hope is that this has been forwarded, and if it hasn't, I will forward it to our chief or our chairman of the planning board.
Do you notice that there's a lot more people on the board now? 2 boards, the planning board and the other one. I think there's extra people on there now. They're in practice, basically.
Well, they're associate members.
Yes, exactly. In case
And
someone
they
leaves.
are in training, basically.
Right. Sometimes they can vote and sometimes they can't, depending on the issue. I've
Well,
noticed that.
we have some board members on the planning board that have been there for over 20
Oh,
years.
yes, they have been there, yes.
And they need to be replaced. I know that they have a lot of knowledge, but they are tainted already. And they need to step aside and let somebody else take this. So,
The problem is there anybody in the steps to take it over. That's another problem also.
well, that's why the new people are associate members.
But that was on the, not on the, hold on, which one was it now? Oh, the zoning board is the one that has the extra people. On the planning board, I think there's, how many extras are
I
there on
think
that
there's one.
Maybe one. I think you might be right.
And the thing is, the new town manager, or even the past town manager, didn't know who the shakers and movers in town were that could be appointed to the planning board or any other board, because what they established is a volunteer program. Oh, I want to be a planning board member.
But they do check your resume. I mean, you know what I
They
mean?
do not.
They don't?
They do not.
Don't you have to go in front of the selectmen? Few people have to go in front of the selectmen, right? On certain
Yes,
boards.
they did. And look what happened with the Zoning Board of Appeals.
Okay.
They appointed someone that was not involved in the past
Okay.
and had no association
Okay.
in the past. But when Kevin was not appointed as a member, he was appointed as an associate member
Yes, it was.
for political reasons.
I know.
Because he ran against the Board of
I
Selectmen.
know. That's not right. I mean, he's trying to do a good job. I got to give him credit. I listened to some of the boards. He's got an open mind. I give him that much credit. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Now, to complete our message on the school committee meeting,
Okay.
I have a PDF or a file in regards to the association. There was another commentator. He did a podcast in regard to what's happening in Danvers.
Okay.
And what I like to do is it's 9 minutes long,
Okay.
but I like to do is start it and then continue it for 9 minutes, and then we'll skip some of the other stories.
That's fine. I don't have.
So, Ben, if you can throw in the podcast in regards to the,
It's from around here, is it, Mark, or no?
it's around here,
Okay, I'm
and
just
it's
curious.
related directly to Danvers and another, Needham, I think,
Oh, okay.
because they went through the same thing less than 4 or 5 months ago.
Okay.
So this is repetitious, and it's happening to all the towns. So if you
If
can,
that's the case, then all those people showed up. It's probably a thing that's
well,
it might be.
that's happened in the past.
That's what I'm trying to get at. I mean, if that's the case, that's not right.
Well, let's
They're
see
trying to
if we-
brainwash us. That's
let's
not good.
See if we can get this on. There, you
A
need
show
the
and tell
sound.
today,
Nope.
Because in Danvers, Massachusetts, the new frontier of education, of course, is not math and of course is not science. Absolutely not. It's guilt, because some absolute genius decided what these 8th graders needed in this school. What they really needed was not fractions or not essays, but a guided tour of their subconscious bias. And again, this is happening in middle school. This is middle school, guys. These kids are like 13 or 14 years old. Can somebody please please tell me, what the hell is going on here? What is happening here with our education system? And you could sit there and think to yourself, Mike, this is a isolated incident, okay? This is an isolated event. But the document, which I'll share on my screen here in a few minutes, I'll do it after I edit. I'll put it up on the screen. But this document looks eerily similar to what happened in Natick School about 5 or 6 months ago. And it's absolutely absurd. You think about this. Can't these poor kids just survive 8th grade heading into high school without being labeled some kind of oppressor? The worksheet pretty much tells these kids that racism isn't about being mean. It's about systems where white people hold power. This stuff gets me really fired up, guys, because we have kids too, and I see the nonsense as well. But let's be fair for a second here. Nobody is against, I'm certainly not against teaching history. I'm sure you're not either. You could teach it all. The good, the bad, the ugly, whatever it is, okay? Whatever it is, you could teach it. But this is not about teaching history. This is some kind of like moral theater. I would say that if this was being taught in a college, maybe sociology class, I think that would be a legitimate framework for some kind of theoretical debate, okay? Totally fine. But in the context of 8th grade, it's being presented as fact, not theory, okay? It's presented as fact and not theory, because there's no historical context, there's no counterexamples, and there's no discussion of how these kinds of systems evolve. So here's, of course, what happened next. Parents found out about this, and they are pissed. Absolute shocker. I guess they don't love their kids being lectured about collective guilt between lunch and gym, okay? And then the school, they get involved, and they tried to say that they are, meaning the parents are misrepresenting it. Misrepresenting it, that's basically bureaucratic code for you caught us, but we're going to attempt to gaslight you into thinking that this is a good idea, or to gaslight you into stop caring. That's what they do. And then, of course, the next to come up was the teachers union. And they claimed that this is censorship. Okay, the parents want censorship. Censorship? No, it's called parenting. And honestly, I think that the majority of these teachers pushing these type of documents, and I could be wrong here, but I think that the majority of them probably don't have children themselves. Because when you look at something like this, and then you look at your class, I mean, don't you do some kind of double take? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, is this appropriate to be teaching 13-year-olds? But the only logical conclusion I could come up with is that you don't get to accuse parents of censorship for wanting to understand what moral operating system you are installing inside of their child's heads. I'm sorry, I really am. But since when did the educator autonomy mean I get to socially program your children? Because that's what I feel like is happening here, and it's happening at scale. And we wonder why our kids have anxiety. We wonder why our kids are nervous. You think maybe telling a bunch of 13-year-olds that they were born into some kind of moral debt might do it? You know, when I was in 8th grade, my biggest fear, when I got to 8th grade, they started like some kind of Italian class, and it was the first year that they offered it, okay? That obviously made me a little bit worried because I had these, we had nuns teaching us in Catholic school, okay? And it wasn't too easy. But now, the fact of the matter here is that these poor kids, they have to walk around wondering if their mere existence is an act of oppression. You see what I'm saying here? And think about the context, okay? We're not talking about college philosophy majors. These are middle school children. They're middle school children. They probably think nuance is some kind of brand of vape. I mean, that really, they're young. You know what I'm saying? They're young and impressionable. And teaching this type of stuff, I find absolutely absurd. You can't expect them to unpack 400 years of history with some levels of responsibility. You're not enlightening them. You're just confusing them, and you're confusing them into silence. But that's the trick. That's the trick. Make them too afraid to speak. You say it's about like critical thinking, but God forbid you actually think critically about that. You can't raise kids to be free thinkers while giving them pre-approved or pre-scrubbed opinions. That's not education. It ends up just being propaganda. That's all that it is. And meanwhile, Massachusetts test scores, they're tanking. Reading proficiency is down. Math scores are in a free fall. And somehow, some way, the only solution to this problem is more sociology in middle school. How could this be? How could this be? And I know this is not only happening in Natick and Danvers. I know that some of you are parents watching this, and you know this is happening in your schools too. If you find something like this, send it to me, okay? And the fact is, a lot of these towns can't even balance a damn budget, okay? And they're constantly looking for overrides while they simultaneously can't teach our kids how to write a coherent sentence, okay? But they sure as hell know exactly where they rank on the oppression pyramid. That's what's happening to these poor kids. So thank you for that. And this isn't, people will say this is about banning books or hating teachers. It has nothing to do with that. And these people, what they do is they accuse parents of wanting to ban books, but that's their only talking point. And the irony of that is that they claim to be the champion of critical thinking, but only when it serves their own beliefs. And look, I'm not saying kids shouldn't read difficult books. I think I made that pretty clear earlier, because they absolutely should. But let's stop pretending that every parental objection is some form of fascism. That word is just being used so freely nowadays, amongst other words as well. And the word ban, when you think about it, used to mean something, and it used to mean something serious. But now it just means, yeah, I disagree. And if a parent questions a book, a course, or anything of that nature, they want a ban. That's not true. And it's a disservice to the parents. So, that's it. It's disgusting. But when a teacher does it, and when they question some kind of policy or whatever is going on in their school, somehow, some way, that's bravery. But a parent can't teach or ask questions about what their kids are learning. It's astonishing to me, because the truth is, most parents aren't trying to burn books. They're trying to read the fine print. And I'm trying to read that fine print too. We want transparency. We don't want some levels of censorship. And is it crazy to think that we don't want schools turning critical thinking into critical theory? I mean, there's a huge difference there, guys. One is teaching kids how to think. The other one teaches them what to think, okay? Big problem there. And I think that's the game, especially when you look at these unions and these teacher associations. They build this moral trap where if you speak up, even the parents, you are intolerant. And if you stay quiet, you're complicit. It's a self-sealing logic, and they always do these things in their favor. And that's why I'm making this video. And that's why when they say the book ban talking points, it could sound righteous, okay? But it's never engaging with reality. So here's my question. When did education stop being about knowledge and start being about confessions? Really, since when did learning mean repentance? Because this new version of school, it's not preparing kids for the real world. It's preparing them to crumble when they meet it. We cannot continuously keep on teaching very, very young kids, okay? Remember, that is the context of this video. These are very young, impressionable kids. We cannot be introducing this type of stuff into them, have a one-course curriculum on these type of topics, and then expect them to know everything about it and everything about the real world, okay? They're too young for this stuff. And I'm also so sick of hearing that this is some kind of book ban or this. It's absolutely ridiculous, because there's absolutely no logical talking points that both the administration or the teachers or their unions or the associations, whatever it is, they have no logical other reason but to label it like that, because it's a hot ticket word or a hot ticket phrase, right? It's ludicrous to me. It's absolutely crazy.
Great.
Very good.
Thank you very much, Ben. I appreciate that. And I think it takes the words out of our mouth,
Yes.
because it's a repetition of exactly what we've been talking about.
And that's exactly what's going on. That's the sad part.
And I just wanted to get something across that was not directly from us. But this is happening all around us.
So you notice how we said Danvers and Natick,
Yep.
okay? So it's not just Danvers here. It's just so
Well, this is the only two that he's addressed.
exactly.
This is happening across the state and across the country.
And it's got to be do with the unions, probably.
And
I hate
one
to say
thi-
it.
And the one thing that we have to realize is my dissertation here. There was an article that was in the Boston Globe, in the Boston Globe magazine,
Okay.
and in the main body of the Sunday paper that our scores are
I heard the score's not that great.
they're lousy
That's
as
what
a matter of
I
fact.
know. And how can they keep pushing this stuff? Bring the scores up. Show us you're doing your job.
They don't want to do that because then they'll be out of a job. Because
What do you mean they'll be out of a job?
they're trying to indoctrinate our children and grandchildren into the local woke system that they have been brought up in. And the thing is that parents and grandparents have to step up and say, enough is enough. We need to move on. So that is the highest story in the Danvers system.
It's an
at the
important
moment.
story, though. That's
But-
the problem.
But they don't want us to.
Talk about it.
That's right. And the thing is that we have other stories that are very important.
Well, that's it. That's the
But
problem.
what I want to bring up is I am going to go to the Board of Selectmen at their meeting, or maybe before,
Okay, I'm listening.
and go into the Beverly Airport resolution that was presented.
Yes.
We haven't heard a peep out
Right,
of
that's what
them.
I'm wondering. We haven't heard anything yet. Basically, they do not want to do a study, I would imagine. Is that it?
They do not want to do
And the town's not
any-
going to force them to do it.
No, the town is not even going to request them to do
They
it.
have to request them to do it. The reason being is, okay, I remember reading in the book, whenever they go for something big like that, we have the right to ask for the FAA, for the money they're giving them, and for what they want to do to us. We have the right to ask for an impact study, okay, on the quality of life that they're going to disturb on us, okay? And they don't want to do it. The reason being is they're trying to push it under the rug. It's about time the town of Danvers wakes up, okay, and takes care of its residents, okay? Right now, it's a free-for-all over there. I don't even bother complaining anymore. Right now, it's crazy, okay? Now, I'll be honest with you. I believe that the airport is coming up November 4th. They're coming to the meeting at the Selectmen Board. We have to pack that room. Everybody in Danvers, okay, has to wake up, okay, and come to this meeting and tell the Board of Selectmen enough is enough. Beverly Airport does not give us a dime, okay? They don't take care of us. They don't take care of their residents. They keep sweeping everything under the rug. We have to get something done. That's my honest opinion.
Tony, just to reinforce that, we, the people of Danvers and Massachusetts, in order to ensure our community remains focused on resident well-being, quality of life,
Yes.
and individual as well as environmental health considerations be made with regard to the operation of Beverly Airport. There are several motions that have been presented to the airport commissioners, but it seems like lately they have been more interested in running for city council than addressing the issues of the Danvers
That is another
abutters.
problem. That is a conflict of interest.
No kidding.
I don't understand how they can let this happen.
Well, the mayor can let things happen. The mayor is up for re-election again,
Well-
and we should encourage the Beverly residents to throw the bum out.
And I'll tell you something right now. That mayor of Beverly should be at this meeting. We should be talking to him, okay? Not this board. The reason being is you realize something. 1-6 was supposed to be the Commons runway. That's what they promised us. That's what they told us. It took us so long to get it there. Now that we have 1-6 in play, okay? They decided they're getting too many complaints on that side, and that's where this gentleman that we're complaining about lives, okay? Now they want runway 9 to be the Commons runway, which brings all the noise back into Danvers, okay?
That's right.
There's a problem there. There's an inequity out of that airport. Big inequity, okay? I'll
Well-
be honest with you.
Well, right now, just to give you some confirmation of that we're not the only ones that are complaining about airports, Hanscom Field
Yes.
is having a demonstration at the State House
I did hear about that.
on October 14th
Yes.
at 10:30 a.m. And I have distributed the email to appropriate people on our list, And what I'm going to do is I'm going to attend that meeting
Oh, okay.
at the State House. I
gonna film
love
it?
that location. That's great.
Yes.
As long as the state police stay out of the way. But this will be a demonstration by Hanscom.
Hopefully they don't bring the National Guard in.
No, maybe they will. That'll be great. Those guys are great. So Ben and Greg, if we can throw up the Nantucket BVY to Nantucket programs. Here's a example of what they were advertising on their website, and Jane Dean was reinforcing this particular issue, but what she sent out to the Board of Selectmen and to us, that the next flight is going to be, this was 2 days ago, 3 days ago, the next flight was going to be to Reykjavik, Iceland.
Really?
So what are we having? We having flights to Nantucket, and then we're having flights to Reykjavik, Iceland?
I don't know, but the ones to Nantucket is too expensive.
Well, it is, because they
I don't know who's
can't.
taking them. No one's taking them.
They
you can Go out
can't-
of, you can go out of Logan Airport for $113. And they want $400 or $500 out of Beverly. I don't
That's
know.
right,
I don't think it's
because
worth it, to tell you the
well, it's all for the rich private jet commuters.
truth.
So we are experiencing that over our air, and we cannot let
Well,
this happen.
All you know right now, like you said, you got to think together. There's about 9 jets a day leaving there right now.
That's right.
Okay,
And-
and believe it or not, you go back 30 years, we only had 1 jet leaving there, and that was the Osram jet. That
That's
was
right.
the only one. It used to leave early in the morning. You could hear it. Right now, it's getting terrible. Okay.
Well, that's why Beverly Airport is becoming the next jet port for
They want a next
private
jet port,
jets.
but the residents of Danvers have to wake up, and because the reason being, if they do what they want to do, we're not going to be able to live around there. It's going to be a dangerous situation. Okay, fumes, quality of life, everything. That's why we have to wake up, and not just us. The Board of Selectmen have to stand up and help us. Town manager, this town has to be saved. If Beverly wants to do it, let them do it in Beverly and put all the noise in Beverly, but they don't. They make us suffer for all the stuff they want to do over there. It's
and
not
they
right.
and they blame the FAA, but
Constantly.
it's the direction of the current board and the mayor, because he
Yes.
is the head honcho in
Yes.
that.
Yes.
So, the next show will be 2 weeks from now.
Right.
And what we're going to focus on is the town charter review, or what they call now town meeting
Right.
and
They were
town
supposed to do.
manager
They were
act.
supposed to do it this week here, but we have to congratulate Maureen on being a grandmother.
There you
okay?
go. That's
The reason being is they had to put it off until the next meeting. Okay.
well, it's Maureen. You should have more grandchildren
Yes.
for the next
God
3
bless
days.
you and your family.
Next 3 weeks or 3 years. But it's a pleasure to welcome your new member of the family,
Yes.
because Tony and I have experienced grandchildren, and we're
the
doing
best thing.
something that we never thought we were going to do, babysit.
Right. And on top of it, we're trying to preserve the quality of life in this town for our grandchildren.
And the family life for our grandchildren. So we do appreciate that, and congratulations to Maureen, our chairwoman of the Board of Select Board.
Select
I'm
Board.
sorry, and you are not on one of the turkey farms yet, but please help us out in getting attention to our issues that have been discussed today. And I hope that you will select the school committee for attention, because our grandchildren and our children deserve better.
Exactly.
So thank you, Danvers, for being with us today. And we look forward 2 weeks from now to a show. And I think that one we're going to be doing at 4 o'clock in the
okay.
afternoon.
See what happens.
And we'll try a new time frame. And we'll see if we can get somebody from the school committee to come on.
Good luck. I don't think so.
Well, that's okay. Good night, Danvers. Good afternoon, Danvers. Good morning, Danvers. And we hope to see you in 2 weeks. Thank